Are you guys tired of your pots and your trays cracking every other year and then you have to throw them away? Well, we were, and I'm going to show you guys 2 upgrades that we made that I think will really help you in growing healthier plants and make it so that you don't have to buy new trays or pots possibly ever again. For the first few years that we were gardening, we were using these plastic pots that work fine. We were putting them on these plastic trays just one at a time, and you can fit like maybe 10 of them on there, and you just poke a hole in there, put your seed in. That's one plant in like this much space. Afterward, we tried fitting multiple plants in here, and that kind of worked, but at a certain point, you had to sort of pick them out, and what I noticed is that the root systems would get tangled up. It was just a very complicated process. On top of that, we noticed that just very quickly the pots and the trays started cracking and breaking, and they were sort of usable, but we were constantly having to get new ones. And that was only after a few years of gardening that way. Our first upgrade was our trays. And we were using these, probably seen them before, and this is what a lot of people use. This year we're using these diner trays. We got them on Amazon. The reason that we like these is because they're quite a bit sturdier. It's like, feels like I would have a hard time breaking this. So we think they're gonna last a long time. Also, the watering is a little bit easier because they're just slightly shallower. There's gonna be better airflow using these trays as opposed to the really flimsy ones. The other main upgrade is from these pots, and we'll still use these pots for other things probably. They totally have their uses. We have upgraded over the past couple years from pots to the soil blocker. And soil blocks, in our opinion, are the best way to start your seeds. We really can't recommend it enough, and we're going to show you how to use it right now. I've got my soil blocker, I've got my tray, and I've got my potting soil. You want to get the potting soil really wet before you use it with soil blocks because they need to hold together, and so you're looking for a pretty jelly-like consistency. And I'll show you why. So I'm just going to dip the soil block in. You have to finagle it so that you can sort of get the potting soil actually in there. Okay, so now I've got my filled soil blocker. It's dripping because it's, again, very wet potting soil. And all I'm going to do is plop these out on the tray, just like that. And there you go. We've got a soil block. This is a plasticless pot. It actually is going to sustain a plant from seed all the way until you put it in the ground, just like right in this tiny little pod. And a good test to see if the soil block is going to hold together, if your potting soil is saturated enough, is to just give it a light toss onto your hand. And if it mostly holds together like that, then it's ready. You just kind of give it like that. It's squishing a little bit, but you can always just make another one. And here I've got my 4 soil blocks. Now these are the medium-sized soil blocks, and this is what we've used for a while, but we're starting thousands of seeds this year, and so we're going to start even smaller. And this is one that we're just starting to use for this year. We're really excited about it, and it's the mini soil blocker. This is the mini soil blocker. It's got 20 soil blocks compared to the 4 for the normal sized soil blocker, the medium. With this mini soil blocker, we can fit over 200 plants on a single tray, which is incredible. For this one, you have to use it a little bit differently. You just have to basically just want to get the soil in your hand and smash it in to the mini soil blocker. And you want to make sure that your potting soil is very fine, and you want to make sure that you get every soil block in the blocker filled. Okay, so there it is, full of soil, and just the same as the other one, just gonna squeeze them out, and now we've got mini soil blocks. These things are so tiny, but trust me, you can grow plants in them. We've been starting hundreds of plants from seeds. So just starting there, I mean, with a single mini soil block press, we can fit more starts on this tray than we could with just using pots on this tray. So this is super beneficial for us. It's not for everyone. If you're starting a lot of seeds, we really recommend it. Or if you just want to try it, that's great. We also have an attachment for the medium-sized soil blocker that creates a little indent just big enough for us to put a mini soil block in it. So once the plant fills the capacity of the mini soil block and it stops growing, we can transplant that into the medium-sized soil block, and then the plant will continue to grow. For watering these, we really recommend that you bottom water, especially for the mini soil blocks. If you water on top, they run the risk of disintegrating. If you water on the bottom, then the soil blocks just suck up the moisture and give your seeds and your plants the water they need. The other thing that's really cool about the soil block, when you press it out, it's hard to tell, but these actually are pretty separate. So when the seed sends its roots down, it'll find the edge of the soil block, and once it hits the edge, it'll sense that there's air, and it will stop growing in that direction. This means that the plant will stop growing, and it will actually just wait for you to plant it into the ground where it can continue to expand its root system. So these are two really simple upgrades that you can make this year. We're going to put the links in the description to the soil blocker and the trays that we got. I really want to recommend that you try it. Try the soil blocker. I don't think you'll regret it. It's really fun seeing these soil blocks just sitting there and growing your plants. And I really hope that this benefits you this growing season. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more stuff like this in the future.